Good to go.
And greetings all. Welcome to episode 6 of the Racing Line. You can see you have the regular cohorts here tonight. JG, Adam, we all survived the fun ultimate challenge from this past weekend. So good to see you guys.
Barely. That was an appropriately named series, Stevie. You were right on the money with that. Yeah, that was an incredibly tough test. But yeah, tons of fun.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun for me too, and I can already
see got Adam on track.
Yeah, we've got Tam and Michelle here in the chat. I think. Sorry guys, I'm still kind of working with some audio levels here, so don't mind me as I get louder and quieter during the broadcast. But by the way, Michelle, how'd that first race go for you? I think you told me that you were gonna lap me maybe. How'd that go, Michelle? Anyways, Stevie, back to you.
Yeah, we didn't know we had a dirt track ringer in our midst. You know, he found out it was dirt and said, "See ya." He literally said, "I'll see you guys down the road." So off he went.
Well, I guess
it was. Go ahead.
Let's do it.
You ready
I mean, we're talking about it. Might as well go to it. You ready, Jason?
Yep. Let's go. Formula V's on dirt, USA International.
Let's get ready to go racing for the first time.
We did a dirt Formula V for week 13 a couple of seasons ago at Lanier, I think it was, and it was just tons of fun. So I filed that in the back of the P-Brain for a while, and I thought, it's time to bring it out. Let's try it.
I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like the third ever dirt race I've ever done for Oval. And they've all been like week 13 stuff, so definitely not a skill that I have.
Yeah, Michelle says you got to respect Adam.
Watch right here.
Whoa.
Watch me weaving down the straight. I was just weaving, trying not to hit David.
We're gonna have a quick look.
Brewster was a menace. I did not realize Brewster was going to be that fast.
Cars everywhere.
Yeah.
And
you put that guy in the Formula V, he's going to be flying.
Going, but we're going to see exactly
he's good in the
what
V's
happens,
no matter what.
A couple of flashes,
and he's had some practice on the dirt V's too.
There you go. That's a couple of cars involved. Almost clears the fence.
Yeah, that happened a couple of times.
And then a whole swarm of bees, and it's mass casualties here.
Happened to me once too. Yeah, Michelle, we're doing things a little bit different this week with our video, and Adam's been.
Oh my goodness!
Almost. He almost got through.
Adam's been using his magic on us, so hopefully it'll be like this from here on if we keep after him.
Watch this move from Jim coming up. And Thor.
Hoping for a great result tonight, but trying to pick his line, looking left, looking right.
Because it was wild. Because we had we had 40 cars on the grid.
Yeah.
Everybody's at a different skill level.
Yeah, and
what a move!
Nobody knew.
Jim.
Right through the middle. Yeah, right through the middle. No, but there you go.
What happened?
What
happened there?
Once somebody started going, there were so many cars, it just continued. It just snowballed.
Yep.
It just snowballed.
I thought we had made it through there. Michelle and I were just trying to do the same thing as Jim and Thor were doing. Michelle and I touched wheels.
I got
Unfortunately,
caught a couple of times. Yeah, I got caught and launched fairly early.
Who's that guy?
Right? Who is that guy?
Yeah.
He's got a pretty cool paint job. He's pretty fast too.
Our dirt track ringer
lapped everybody up to 5th place, I think.
Yeah.
At this point in the race.
Ringer.
It's barely over halfway.
Yeah. I had thought beforehand that I should throw a couple of yellows, and we got in the race, and
yeah, he had a couple of these.
I totally forgot about throwing. Oh, there he went in somebody else. Yeah.
If you would have thrown some yellows, Stevie, it would have been more carnage, and I would have been there for it.
That'd have been way worse.
Absolutely loved it.
Stephen Healy just
said I had kind of planned on it, and then we got into the race, and I totally forgot about it because that's what we did last time we tried it on dirt.
Yeah.
Through cautions. And
Yeah.
so there you go.
Oh,
Dominant
dominant
win.
Third
His
place.
first race with us in the Weekend Warriors. Dominates for a win.
All right, so now that that's done, okay, now we're gonna move on to the FFs. But that was fun. We don't have to watch this.
I mean, even though I was in a crash in the Formula V's, that was so much fun. It was
showing the first test session that they did.
No,
you don't need to show it because the same thing happens on the second one.
It's repeat.
Well, you
it
just
was a little better. It was a little bit.
a little better on the second one. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was better for me in the first one.
The brakes there from Thompson, who's going to carry straight on.
There we go.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, there's more grip out there.
Make it through.
Hi, Guido.
They were collected by Thompson. In our first attempt at
And
going
Russell.
live, Brewster under a lot
Michelle,
of pressure.
Russell. Got all kinds of people in here tonight. But anyway,
Best to tell for the entirety of the
group.
field there on behind them.
That was the other challenge I knew. It was like, okay, I had kind of planned on using Alton Park in the rain, but that limits it to 40 cars. And once our registration started getting up high enough, it's like, okay, that's not going to work.
okay. All right,
the next best thing.
Russell and Guido, come on, guys, chill.
And it went for the show, both starts. Yeah. He made sure he had the highlights.
Almost gets it sideways, loses the momentum.
This race was really.
wasn't going to work, so we had to throw in something.
McConnell on the outside.
Yeah, this race was really difficult in the beginning because you transition from the V's in the dirt to Formula Fords in the wet, and again, different skill levels. The grid's pretty much just all mixed up.
It was,
and you can't really pass in the rain that easily, especially when the people in front of you are too wide.
Cork in the bottle once more.
Brewster being the cork in the bottle here, they say.
Tim shade.
Made their way through, but there's Healy, there's Green, there's Adrian, there's Fortolo, all involved there as well.
Yeah, it's like right there. It's like there's nowhere to go.
With this one, he'll hold on.
You can't send it through wide because it'll just crash.
Taking their tickets to
that
the
outside line.
Right now.
I remember saying it. I think I was in there, Jason. I was like, do not take the inside. Don't take the racing
this one.
Yep.
We look back from Sadro. That's Fortolo, who's only a 10th behind us.
My
Jason
first ever rain race was at Road America in the Spec Racer. And I had only had 2 races under my belt.
I'm not sure about Jason.
Front row went off the track. They coming through the pole setter passed me, and I just tagged in behind him and followed him, and that's how I learned the rain line, was going around the carousel at Road America.
We got a quick replay here.
There we go.
This was incredible right here.
Oh my goodness, Thor!
Like he's on ice.
Right?
I didn't even see that.
Lucky boy.
It's like he was on ice and just
losing out in that battle.
Jim getting so lucky to not get hit there.
Locked in.
This battle was incredible too.
Oh my God, Towson Gasper. So Gaspers was saying in the chat, he was like, he was faster. I had to figure out where he was faster than me.
Yep.
Yeah, he said he followed Tufts and learned the racing line, learned where to go in the rain.
In this interesting battle
this
here
was
in the
David's first ever race in the rain.
Event for week 13, the Weekend
To give you an idea of David's skill level.
Look at McConnell.
His skill level
he just uses a few more attempts. That just it's almost
he just needed to follow Daniel for like a lap or two, and he's got it.
So Guido, I see you in the chat here. Where were you in this race? I don't see you in the top 25 at least. What happened to you, Guido?
Probes, tries to find a way past.
He's throwing that pot tonight.
You have opportunity to drop, and
must be in the
become
dream.
a battle of the late breakers. But just how far late do you want to break? You know, you've got these wet conditions.
We don't know.
Not only that,
yeah, here's the pass right here. This is an amazing overtake.
You got to weigh up that
dangerous, but amazing.
You thought he was going to just keep sliding through it.
Yep. Oh, I thought he was going straight into Tufts right there. I really did.
From the 21 on the inside.
I mean, in turn 1, the inside is where the grip is. At least in the braking zone.
Yeah.
Neck and neck. nose and nose, wheel to wheel between the pair of them, but it's
That's
tough
pretty
to
good
get
racing in
through.
the
It's a
rain.
beautiful
Move.
switchback here from
Oh,
Casper, so
on
he
the
can
curb.
make it
Around the
work,
outside.
but there
What
is
a
a
move.
right-hander next, and
So good.
Tucker bails. He just dips out of it. He tucks in behind Gaspers. Play this up
On
over
the grass.
to overtake Florian
Like,
Lewis, but
Guido says he
across
wasn't
the
there.
line,
It's
David
all right, Guido.
Gaspers,
I
he's
am-
gonna
I
take the
embarrassed-
checkered
he-
flag.
he
He's
I
gonna
embarrassed
here
us
in
enough
race
for
two
both of
from
us
Summit
at
Point
that
Raceway in the Formula Fords. McConnell second. Tufts will come home third, but it's all about
Shout out
that
to
race
Michael.
for that Masters win. What's
Daniel,
happening, Daniel?
Well,
Daniel
you
had
see
some
Reese
issues.
is
He had
still
to
going
spin
at
into
it,
the
and
wall.
De
Had to
Gacis
pit for
is well. De Gacis is
for
back
faster
about 6
pair.
seconds, so Reese has shifted his focus now.
Also, if
He's
I
having
would
to
have
go, and
realized
a little
that
bit of a
Michelle
wobble
was in
there
my
with Florian
class, I would
Hurts.
have raced
He's
her a
got to
little
make
bit
sure he
harder back
doesn't
here
take
for
each other
second.
out there.
I
As you
didn't
see,
realize.
It looks
I
like
was
De
just
Gacis not
driving
quite able to
around.
get it. Oh, what's
Oh!
going on there? It's kind of pushed off
Yeah,
a
this
little
was
bit
not
there. Who
ideal.
was that now?
That was Paul Jackson, who was trying to get out of the way, and inadvertently
That was a checkered.
cost
And then
him
off
my
we go.
God.
fifth place as he loses.
To the Shadow Realm.
He drops down to seventh there. Gaspers, confirmation, your race winner here today by 9.1
By
seconds.
10 seconds,
Daniel
almost.
Tufts could have
That
gone
guy
for the
is quick.
victory, but in the end,
He's quick.
Oh,
down
he's-
into third.
He's not a
Fourth,
five-time
Antonio race picking up that Masters
Weekend
victory
Warriors
ahead
champ
of
for
second
nothing.
place to
Yeah.
Gassius in class.
And like,
Lorraine Utz could have finished in the top five, but in
I
the end,
forget
it
how
was
many
only
in a
Sam
row he won the
Jackson
official series.
trying to do the right thing,
Maybe
get out of the way, and in the end, end up tripping over.
like 10 in a row or something like that. I don't know. It was a
Germanic
ridiculous number in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah,
who still
let's
holds
go,
on to
Michelle.
that second
P13.
victory. Full total.
Yeah.
We had
Sadro and
Too
we had to bully
Roseborough.
Michelle
Up
into doing the
29
race.
spots, having started
So
39.
you're welcome, Michelle.
Comes
I
home
had a
in
good
10.
time. Obviously, I'm going to be racing with the
Time
FF or
set
the
to start
FV
in.
guys.
Let's get ready to go
FV
racing.
people.
Final
Quite a
time
bit more,
this
but-
evening.
Oh, yay!
SRS
More of
will
me
roll
wrecking
Victor
here.
Green
This'll
and
be
we're
great.
away.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Instantly
I
shut
was-
down
to the
Tufts
concrete
there
walls.
on the run across
I was
the line,
wiped
closing
after
him
the
down,
rain
and then
race.
moves across
Between
inside.
the
He's
concentration
thrown into
needed to
second
figure out how to
shape.
race in the dirt
Tuff pulls the
to
drivers
the
right,
absolute
looking for
chaos of the
switchback here
rain
into
in the middle of the
one,
pack.
and he pulls
To Long
alongside
Beach, where it's
into
40
off the
degrees
mountain,
Celsius
but
track
can't
temp.
get enough momentum to get
Ugh,
alongside
this was
I
it was
intentionally
brutal.
wanted.
and that's
I
why
intentionally
he is
wanted a
five
sunny,
times
hot day
champion
after
in
Mhm.
the SRF
the
Weekend
rain,
Warriors
just
Yeah.
for the
showcasing all of
challenge.
that. There's a big
Yeah,
event
Stevie, what
further
happened to
back,
you?
though.
I think you may be on this highlight reel somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Nunes all caught up in
I
an
wouldn't
incident.
doubt
I'm
it.
going to guess that's either turn one or the
Oh, I
fountain.
got up to
Into the fountain.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so-
Oh, free wide
Oh,
into
hang
the
on.
fountain, but
Hang
that's
on.
never
Oh,
gonna
wait.
work.
Who's that coming
Pretty
across?
clean, pretty good. Is it going to be?
Yeah,
Who
Gary.
comes back
into
across the
fence?
track
You see
here?
that? Oh, they all get
That was
backed
Gary.
up. Oh dear.
He,
and,
uh,
I'm
he
gonna say
wasn't-
this
Stacked
is what
up
is
and then-
triggering this huge line of crashing
Although,
events, but
to be
thankfully,
fair, that
for the
is
most
one of the
part, a lot
least
of these guys are able to keep
costly
running.
There's nowhere to go. Yeah.
No.
crashes in the fountain.
Take a
It can
little
get
look
so
at
much
this
worse in the
one
fountain.
into turn
Yeah.
one.
Oh, here's a
Does
good
he
here's how you
uphold
break for turn one right
himself?
here.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jason, that's beautiful.
I
mean-
Perfect.
He saved
It was
it.
so quick. So quick.
Adrian just Antonio racing
saved
the
it,
pits
though.
as well, just heading back out. But
And
not
Antonio
much,
had
as
to
he
pit
was
for
looking
damage, I
like,
think.
well,
Yep.
good for Masters victory. Jim Brewster
Here's
now
the
leads
instant
that
curse
one,
right here.
and potentially a
instant
place
curse
on the
by
podium
Tim.
overall for
Yeah,
race. But
thanks, Tim. Oh my
not
God!
gonna happen as the 981.
Whoa!
There's a big moment there. That's Nick Tello.
Just, yeah.
Oh
What
dear.
There goes the
Oh
nose.
my God.
Well, ambitious with the curbs there. All over the rear end of Brewster.
Yeah, I think Jim
Brewster's
was
on his left
struggling a little
of
bit.
Brewster, who holds it round
We
the
all were.
outside there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost touch between the pair of them. Then they've got Love, who says, I want a piece of this action. I want to get involved here.
Here goes.
Still though,
Someone behind
even
them,
though Jim's
having a bit of
struggling,
a
he's
look.
still gonna race you hard.
Oh yeah.
But not
Still
for
gonna
now.
still gonna be a
Not for
challenge to
now.
overtake
Not
him.
for now.
Yep.
Well, it's
Well, he's
I
definitely
hate
in a front
overtaking
row
in this
seat to
corner.
make a move
Well,
here, but he's got to
it's
decide
so
when
bumpy,
he
it's
wants
so
to
easy
go
to lock
for
up
it.
and
You
go
see
into the
there,
wall.
Daniel Wood
Well
being
done,
upset
Dan.
by Jim Brewster. Jim Brewster definitely not a slouch.
With Thompson's aspirations to walk away with the Spec 2 title here.
Watch this move from Andrew. It's so good.
Be a definitive moment. That
Andrew and Jim.
what is
Around
Brewster
the
well, has a look at
outside.
the
Outside.
inside there, but Fabini-
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, well, Fabini's behind, isn't he? In the
So good.
27, there's Love in front of him.
Oh.
While a little bit closer
Right
than
up
he
against
once
the
was,
wall.
he's still a good couple
Yeah,
of seconds back.
Jim
And
was the
without
star
8
of
minutes left in
the
this
Seraph
event to go,
broadcast.
can he hold on for that massive
Although this
victory?
was less ideal.
That's not how you want to
Yeah.
do that, Jim.
Oh.
Yeah.
About to say,
I don't know how
of the
Paul got
final
through that.
race of this
That was
evening.
so
Oh,
close.
look at this. This is one of the 4-car battle I mentioned. Lynn going
Daniel.
for it
I
here,
was
right
out
around the outside. The
well before this.
injured.
There are two
Oh, I didn't
vehicles
know-
missing
Daniel
here.
Yahtzee.
Wood, and a lovely move
Yeah,
right around
Dan
the
and
Yahtzee
Brad,
lights coming through.
Boys' places
Yep.
are made up.
Mhm.
As Gasper edges
Yeah.
into the final corner.
We should have
He
not
is
let
your winner,
David start on
he
pole.
is your
That
champion
was
here
a mistake.
in the
We were never gonna
42nd
catch him after
running
that.
of the Ray
Yeah,
Esports
yeah.
Runoffs.
Well, David asked me. He goes,
Congratulations,
"Well, you were supposed to start on third.
David
I didn't know where I was supposed to start."
Yeah, congratulations
I
to
just
Dogburn as well.
came into the
Respect to
race.
Victor. We'll come to that very shortly. Gaspers.
Yeah, I was.
I
I noticed you didn't grid. Did you do that on purpose?
Completing that podium.
No.
Where's
Well,
Adrian
we have
McConnell
a
takes it to
wildfire still
seventh
burning out
for
here,
eighth
so I just went out
place.
to make sure
Gotcha.
everything was
Respect to
okay.
David
And I came
Ogburn.
back. I was like,
Daniel
"Missed start." I was like, "Oh, I'm
Tubbs
starting in the back
ninth
anyways."
with
Not a big deal.
Vini completing the top
I mean, you
10.
were supposed.
I looked at
You're
my
gonna be starting
fuel
in
up
third.
there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I looked at my fuel and I thought it was, what was it? No, it was a Formula Ford race. I started from the pits.
Hmm.
But yeah. So, all right, let's see if I can throw up a championship picture here.
Oh yeah, why don't we do that,
of
Stevie?
the,
It's a great idea.
and share my screen. There you go.
Oh man, look at those! Look at those guys
There.
up there.
Look at that. Mr. Gasper's kind of ran away with it, but tough, and Michael McConnell is always just steady. He's going to be there. We had a ringer in Spec 2 that between a win on the dirt and a podium in the F Formula Fords was good enough to get him the overall.
We don't need to talk about the Spec Racer race. It didn't matter after the first two. Didn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think he only got it by 2 points though, or something. It was, I think it was close. Yeah. Florian and Arthur. Yeah, Florian is the one that I was chasing him down in the at Long Beach, and he bounced off the wall and I bounced off him. So Antonio gets the win in Masters. Our buddy Jim Brewster right there with him, and Gary Wolbolt. Gary is gotten solid recently. He's just steady and solid now, and up in there.
yeah,
All right.
Arthur is a good driver too. Shout out to Arthur.
Yep. So there you go. There's the
All right.
ultimate challenge, as we called it.
So
God, that was so good. It was amazing, Stevie. Well done organizing that. I know it was a huge challenge. There was a couple of hiccups.
Yeah.
I think everybody agrees that it was amazing.
We've got Daniel. Actually, Daniel's here in the chat right now for Pit Road Productions. I can tell you that there were some things that happened, obviously, on the slow broadcasting side as well. It's a lot to put together for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 3 different races, 3 different types of cars, 3 way different types of tracks. I mean, there is so much going on. You've got people that haven't been in the league all season, aka me, that are joining. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff that was going on. So, Stevie, I think all of us that were hanging out in that Discord chat when all that was going down, I can't thank you enough for everything you did. And you could have taken more time if you needed to, but be able to get all that set up while trying to race, unbelievable. By far. The best.
Yeah. Well, said if I had figured it out a little sooner, it wouldn't have been such a debacle for the Formula Fords. But
we figured it out.
Yeah. So, and then thanks you guys for helping me out. I know I came in the chat and said, "Hey, help! This is what's going on. Let everybody know," and you guys took care of that for me. So, yeah, appreciate it.
No worries. There was, it was an ambitious event, so there's bound to be a hiccup. But the race went on, and everybody had fun. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was what I had hoped it would be a good challenge for everybody and a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens next time. I don't know how I can top it.
So we've got Michelle here in the chat, Stevie, and I'm going to reach out to Michelle. Speedy Boy also, what's up, man? Although I only have a road racing background, racing the V's in the dirt going around is amazingly fun. Hey, Michelle, I think you might have a bit of pull. The FV Discord. Maybe you can make something happen. Just saying, we could run another dirt race. I'm totally fine if we run another dirt race.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah, our dirt track ringer here.
That being said, yeah, I was surprised how much fun the V's or how well the V's did in the dirt. I was expecting to it to be way sketchier, but yeah, especially once the track kind of got faster on the inside line.
Yeah.
You just
Well, like
in there. It was a lot of fun.
I told everybody, the first lap or two was going to be sketchy and slick, and those 2 pace laps, I didn't realize we were getting that helped. And then said, because when I did some testing, it was like the first lap when I come around the front straight, and it was like, there we go, up the wall.
Yep, I was doing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. But once you kind of figured it out, and then towards the end, when that inside line, the racing line dried up, you had some good traction.
Yeah. I see what you did there. The racing line. That was good, Stevie.
Yep. Stuck that right in. Trying to come up with this podcast, and I wanted to do it, and I was trying to come up with a name, and it just popped in there. I don't know how or why, but it just did. So
I mean, it worked out.
Yeah.
So you came up with that, but you didn't take advantage of the Formula Ray leak idea.
Well,
I mean, the car is literally named the Ray Formula Ford. We should have done
I did.
Should be Formula Ray.
There's a little copyright issue there.
There might have been just a little, maybe a little
just
bit.
A little bit copyright issue. Yeah.
I don't agree. I disagree.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have as many highlights tonight as we typically do, and we're running a little earlier than normal, but you think we can bring him in?
Do it. I'm ready.
Yeah. Let's see if I can figure this stuff out that you left me here.
Hopefully he's right.
So guys, if you guys are watching right now, I've basically thrown a massive a massive curveball at Stevie for this because I'm broadcasting, or I'm doing the OBS. Now Stevie's trying to bring somebody in, and Jason's not there. I mean, that's
there, Jason.
That's what I thought would happen.
We're early, yeah,
but that's early, okay. So Stevie, what I would do is I'd leave him in the Discord and at least make sure he doesn't show up in nothing but his underwear when he comes back to his desk.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Yeah. We'll wait for him to let us know he's here. So
yeah,
absolutely. I guess we can go over the tracks for week 1.
All right. Well, yeah, we got the new season coming up. So
I think although I only know so far the SRFs are at Snetterton.
I've got a graphic I can put up with all of them.
Okay.
And we can talk about that for a second. That's a good idea. There we go. And don't tell me it's not there.
Formula Fords are at we just ran Navarra.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah. Formula V's Alton Park. Formula Fords are at Navarra, and SRFs are at Snetterton.
What layout for? Oh, internet. Okay. Is that international no chicane?
Which one?
But yeah, for Alton Park for the V's.
Alton Park is international. Yeah, I think they're using both chicanes on the international.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, first chicane's horrible. I hate it. It's the worst.
Yeah. So you got 2 chicanes in there.
Especially in the V's, like the curbs are bigger than the V's. So you can kind of you can go into the curbs and not come out of them again.
And well, this is a good thing. Well, we've got the schedule up. You can see there's another column here for sponsors.
Yes.
And
yes.
The Formula V's are covered for the whole season. I mean, awesome. Between Michelle Lynn has got a few of them. Still Valley Vapors is doing 6 of them.
Yep, shout out to them.
Awesome for huge shout out to those guys. The Formula Fords and the Spec Racers, we're still working with donations from everybody to cover it, but we do have some sponsors. It's $65 if you want to put your name on a week, and that's what it costs to broadcast it. It's no secret. So there you go. The first week on both the Formula Fords and Spec Racer is an anonymous sponsor, and he wanted to welcome Zippy. So it's just the Formula Fords get the welcome Zippy, and then the Spec Racers get the Zippy Spectacular.
Let's go.
It's just man, welcome Zippy into the fold.
I am totally making, now that you said that, Stevie, I am making a graphic, and we're going to put it up on the stream. It's going to be the Zippy Spectacular. 100% the Zippy Spectacular.
Need a logo for that.
So, yeah, I can't tell you who did it. He wanted to stay anonymous, but there you go. He sponsored the first race of the series and both of them for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the Formula Fords, Carlos Navarro, Paul Stevens, Christian Kabanga, SRG, our group that's coming in tonight. Jason Cotcher is SRG himself, and they're going to sponsor a week there at Okayama. And Soren Garrett's another one of our drivers there at Zandvoort. Bobby West is taking the second week in the Spec Racer Fords. And then down here in the last 6 weeks, let me get the name showing in honor of, you've got the ALS Foundation in honor of Jeff Telker.
Yes.
One of our guys, come on, help me with his first name. Russell Telker?
Russell, yes.
Yeah, this is his dad, apparently, passed away of ALS, and he wanted to sponsor, he gave me some money and said, this is for, it'll cover whatever. And it come out to 6 races in honor of his dad for the ALS Foundation. So huge shout out to him.
Yeah.
We thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Russ.
So all these empty spaces, if you want to put your name on it, let me know. So that is the schedule coming up.
Yeah.
Snetterton, Caldwell, Alton this
Alton will be a huge draft fest, especially the international layout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Indianapolis Road Course at the V's. That's going to be a good one for the V's.
Yeah, Jim loves running that one.
He did it last season. Yeah, he did it last season. So.
That's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we have Daytona coming up in any of these? The moto layout for the SRF.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daytona Moto. Yeah.
Well, I guess
we got the Charlotte Roval. You got Charlotte Roval in both of them too.
Oh God.
That's the first you saw that, huh?
Yeah. Well, I realized we were there in the SRF.
Yep.
But,
and the following week, you're there in the Formula Ford.
Oh, at least it's not the same week. That'd be worse.
Yeah. So, it's going to be a great season. A lot of fun. So pass it around. Get your friends and your frenemies to come on track and join you, and we'll have some fun.
Real quick, Stevie, in the chat here, we've got Russell obviously talking about his dad a little bit. Russell, I'm sorry for your loss, but thank you so much for letting his name continue on and sponsoring the SRFs here for the next season. We've got Speedy Boy saying, bring out the Formula 4. Want those Formula 4s here in Ray Esports, Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of stuff going on here in the chat right now, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. And Russell, again, massive shout out to you for everything that you're doing right now for Ray Esports, at least. And then obviously on the FV side, we've got Steel Valley Vapors. Michelle found a pretty good sponsor here for this season for the FVs. I mean, would this be the first season that the FVs are going to be broadcasted all season?
All season, yeah.
In a while.
Well, I think
in a while.
Yeah. Originally, when we started the Formula V League, I think we had a couple of seasons got broadcasted, and then we couldn't get enough sponsorship to cover it. So they went unsponsored for quite a while. And then the last couple of seasons, we've got a few one-offs here and there. But yeah, this is awesome.
which is a shame for the past couple of seasons when they're not been broadcasted, because usually
that's some of the best racing.
Yeah, it is. It is the most or it's the best races that should be broadcasted because they're always entertaining. Not to say that the other leagues aren't amazing, but it's almost guaranteed that the Formula V races are incredible. So yeah, glad to have them, and I'll probably be running them all season as well, along with Adam. So.
Oh yeah. Oh no, get out! Hey, this is nope. I will see you in the Formula Fords.
Don't worry, I won't. I won't. I promise, I won't do any practice or prep for the Formula Vs. I'll go in blind.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And I can't run V's on Saturdays. Once in a while, I was able to get a Saturday off, but not normally. So. All right, and let's see if we can get our guest in here now. No, there he is.
Hey, we got him.
Hey, Jason, we got you this time.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
We won't talk about the other time.
Appreciate you joining us. Just a little quick intro. Jason Cotcher, he's been a friend of mine, a contact for quite a while. He ran the Weekend Warriors with us for several seasons. And it was good to have him. And he got the bug to go on and do some more stuff on his own and build something. So we're going to talk about that. But a sim racer, a sim rental store. So somebody in my pea brain, what I keep saying that, my pea brain, that's about all it is. But we've had somebody that did the sim racing and went into the real world. We've had somebody real world that did a little bit of sim racing. So what else did we have? We had an announcer last week that did sim and real world announcing. So it's kind of a bigger, broader view of the sim and the real world stuff. And this time I thought Jason would be good to hear a little bit more directed at the sim world and what he can do, what he does, and what anybody could take off and do. So great to see you, Jason. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, guys, great. Thanks for having me.
And I'm going to throw the first question at you that I've been throwing at all the guests so far. And it's a page I took out of Brian Belinsky's stuff he does inside the SCCA. And it's, what got you into this hobby? Where did you start? What drug you into sim racing and got you going?
Yeah, I was born in a little town called Benicia in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. And my dad and my uncles built little English sports cars and were into road racing, their whole lives. So when I got to be 5, my dad said, I'm taking Jason out to Sonoma this weekend. And my mom said, he's too small. It's going to scare him. And my, IMSA, 1500 horsepower monster screaming cars. And the joke in the family is my dad said, I'll bet my day. We'll get out there, and if he hates it, we're coming home. And so, I mean, it's an adrenaline drug hit to a 5-year-old little boy. I'm on the fence. Like, well, I mean, I can tell you everything about it. So from that point on, it was always going to be motorsports, whatever it was. And when I was in high school, my dad and uncles got into SCCA. So I had the grease under my fingernails and graduated Davis. I was already working on cars on the weekend and kind of pissed that I had to go back to school on Monday, but went from Davis to the Skip Barber Racing Mechanics program at Monterey. Had a decade and a half's worth of career in the real world, building and test driving cars, and got to 30 and I was just kind of done with it. I was tired of the road. Came home, had to figure something else out. I got into finance. And right about that time, that 2010, when iRacing started to come to the fore, I had some friends actually tell me, you got to check this out. Well, what's funny is I gave them the, I'm done playing video games. I played video games in the 90s. This is silly.
Too old for that.
They laughed at me. They said, you're going to find this someday and you're going to remember that your friends told you this was cool. And a decade goes by, COVID hits, world shuts down. I see iRacing on TV and I was like, all right, this isn't this isn't Mario Kart. You got real world IndyCar drivers talking about this is what it looks like, this is what it sounds like, and I was like, all right, I gotta try this, and so I did my homework in 2020. I built my own rig in January of 2021. Started endurance racing with teammates and such, and my dad was a spec racer Ford guy, so I was crewing those cars in my 20s. And I was driving the spec racer. It was a Summit Point weekend, and I had a great battle with a guy, and I finished the race, and I was chatting with him, and I said, he said, if you're really into spec racer Ford, you got to check out Weekend Warriors and Stevie Ray's program.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I met you. And then I raced in that league for a while. And then next funny story. So I had my rig, and it was like spring of 2022, and a couple of race car guys came over to my house, and my wife and my buddies were going to go to dinner. We had a couple hours to wait. So I said, hey, check out my rig. And when my wife came home, they said, you go have date night. We're not leaving. I mean, they were fighting over, you already got your 5 laps. It's my turn now. We came back 90 minutes. They were still fighting over whose turn it was. And it kind of lit the light bulb in my head. We're ahead of it. There aren't sim racing centers. And sim racing is great, and I loved it. And I obviously I ran for years with my endurance racing teammates, but they live in Germany, they live in England, they live on the East Coast, and they live in New Zealand. And when the race is over, here I am sitting alone in my garage. And so with my buddies, I started thinking, like, what if we had 10 of these things, and we could run leagues, and we could do corporate events. And I have a degree in finance, so once those gears started turning, I did math for about 8 months and launched the Sim Racers Group October 15th of 2022. So just coming up on 2 years. And I will say a lot of what I learned in running leagues and running communities is stuff that I did my homework on while I was running in the Weekend Warriors. I really appreciated that environment and your communicative skills and the way guys raced each other. And it was really what it was all about. We are Weekend Warriors. It's just digital now. And sim racing is everything that I love about it, with the stuff, that doesn't have the stuff that I didn't like: the entry fee, the fuel, the tires, the crash damage, the travel, all of that stuff that made kind of the rest of life impossible doesn't exist in the sim racing world. So I was grateful to live in it. We are grateful to live in an area to have the technology where we can enjoy it and push and get all the same adrenaline. And when I'm upside down on fire, I hit a reset button. My wife really likes that I am not actually really upside down on fire. And I do too. So I mean, it was sort of, almost from conception as far as the motorsports bug. And then in the real world was chasing it, kind of got tired of the road, and then found it in the digital world where I go home and sleep in my bed every night. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm grateful to have it. The Sim Racers Group is the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, but it's also probably the most fun and rewarding thing. So here in San Jose, we got 10 rigs. If you're interested in trying sim racing, for $40 an hour, come down, have a go. You got friends you want to race, bring them in. We set them up for you. And it's really an opportunity to grow within sim racing economically. I find a lot of times a little bit of like a gold panning, you go through a lot of material, but then when you find the drivers that are really interested in it and really love it, they can participate. They don't have to have a $10,000 rig. You can come in and pay, a couple $100 a season, and you can play. And if you like it, great. If you can slowly build your rig at home and piece it together, then you can log in from home and continue to race within the community. So I'm trying to, we joke about sim racing is sort of the democratization of the hobby of motorsports, because it is so expensive, and getting more so, of course, in the real world, that now everybody with a couple $100 can have a go at a Formula Ford Rookie League season here. And if they dig it, then the community is here to play in. And if they don't, then they could take a shot at it before they spent, $40,000 to have a go and then decide it wasn't for them. So, it's been great, and we're growing. we're cash positive 2 years in, which my friends are
That's awesome.
astounded. They're like, "That's amazing." I'm a little impatient. I wish I was already a millionaire destroying my liver on a yacht somewhere, but I play video games with my friends, and that's really what it comes down to for us.
Well, you mentioned those leagues and stuff. You've got, I see on the Discord, you've got like tons of leagues, and it looks like everything from rookies to introducing them to it and coaching them through it, and more advanced leagues as they progress and stuff. So talk a bit about that, because it looks like you've really built up steps so people can progress just through what you do.
Yeah, the hardest part about this whole thing has been the patience. I don't have a marketing budget. You're not going to see me running ads at the halftime of Super Bowl and this, but when we started out, it was
anyway.
Give me a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, we got leagues too, so
it was me and 4 buddies on Tuesday nights running the Formula Ford, and that was the rookie program. And then as I got a full house on that, and I had some drivers that were into it, then we advanced into the F4, the Wednesday night intermediate. Those are both full houses now, and 15 or so drivers logging in from home. And so then we've just recently introduced the Radical on Thursday nights as the advanced car. I really feel like that's probably the most underappreciated car on iRacing.
I love that car.
No traction control, no ABS. You can throw it away on either pedal and the steering wheel. So it's gratifying when you've got that thing sliding around, turning good lap times. I love that thing. So then the endurance team, it's a lot of fun. We just had a real world in-house only 6-hour GT3 of Spa. So 40 people here hanging out, the barbecue, your turn, jump in, real world pit stops, drag. The joke was, I'm not stitching the loops on the top of my shirt because I don't want you to drag me out of the seat to throw yourself in. So we're just trying to take advantage of everything that iRacing has to offer and different ways to enjoy it. And it's special in person. That's really probably the most fun thing. As I said, if your teammates are international, that's great. I love those guys. I'd fly across the world for them if they needed me. But you can't hang up the headphones and then have a beer. With time zones, and it's 3 a.m. for this guy, and sort of life intervenes. But when everybody's in house at 5 o'clock on a Saturday, there's all the bench racing and BS and such is sort of a real world factor that you don't get if everybody lives on a different continent. So we've been growing. We did the first season of rookies, and it ended up being 6 guys in house, and I was terrified, paying rent, not got the foot traffic that I wanted. And it was week 1 of season 2 and nobody showed up. And I figured, well, that was fun. I'm broke. The wife's going to leave me. That was unpleasant, but with Faith now and some friends and a community and leagues that you can count on, it's, it was about 6 months ago. I was like, hey, I'm still here. I wasn't afraid of going bankrupt instantly anymore. So things got a lot more fun after that. But from 6 guys Tuesday nights in a rookie league, and just sort of friends tell friends, and we built it up. So it's been great.
Real quick,
that's
Jason.
A lot of the same. Go ahead.
Sorry, Stevie. I've got some people in the chat here.
Ahead.
They're asking a question about your Radical. Is it the SR10 or the SR8?
The 10. Yeah, the 10. The right-hand drive on the 8 messed me up. I could not get my head around apexing to the left, not on the left side of the car. So had to go with the 10. I was loving the fact that it was left-hand drive. And just a beast. It's a proper advanced league car. We turn damage on. At this point, it's big boy pants. Yeah. So love that thing.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Stevie. Go ahead.
I was just saying his concept of people sharing things and having a beer together and stuff, that was kind of half of what this concept was to have the podcast where people could get to know us, and we bring in members from the Weekend Warriors and the sim community and everything. So this said along his same lines was to help everybody kind of get to know each other as well. So hats off to you, Jason. That's awesome.
Unbelievable, and it's. I mean, I'm kind of echoing some of the things in the chat here, Stevie and Jason.
Yeah. Oh, that's
when I say I don't know for a fact how hard it would be to get a brick and mortar sim racing company off the ground, but I can tell you how expensive my rig was, and to do that 10 times over, and to be able to create the amount of inflow that you need to make that worth it. Unbelievable on your part to be able to get that done without the marketing, like you said. So clearly you found a niche down there in San Jose. And by the way, if you're ever thinking about expanding, I know a guy in Reno, Nevada, who isn't that far from San Jose. I mean, one state away, but congratulations to you, man. 100%.
Appreciate it.
You've also improved your rigs too through the years as well with your direct drives and all that.
Yeah, it's a funny story. I actually contacted Fanatec and I tried to put in $100,000 order with them for 10 chassis, 10 pedals, 10 V3s, 10 DD8s, 10 F wheels, 10 WRC wheels. They responded one per customer. And I said, swear to God, I'll forward you the email. I kept it.
Wow.
And I said, no,
we don't want any help. Yeah.
I'm not trying to play supply chain games. I'm not trying to like hoard them and then wait until you're out of stock and then I swoop in at double the. I'll show you the LLC. I'm trying to start a business. I want to, get me to a manager. Get me to someone with the authorization to say this. And I got an email back. I'm the manager. Good luck with your business. One per customer. It just like it.
Wow.
It blew my mind. So it's like, what do you do now? Well, I got on eBay and I bought 14 sets of the CSL Elites, pedals and wheelbases. I bought 10 of the $300 Challenger chassis. You got no friends. I had no corporate connections. Like, here it is, right? And so if, they're out there listening or they're going to hear this later, a shout out to guys that have been racing here for 18 months that paid to play on $300 chassis and CSL Elites. They knew what it was. It's a rare gem now. There's 13 brick and mortar sim racing facilities in the United States, I think. So they were the ones that paid the league fees, and everything has been reinvested. And we put better seats on the chassis, and we welded the flex out of the chassis. And then we went from belt drive 6 Newton. Then I bought 10 Fanatec DD8s to get guys on to direct drive stuff. And then a shout out to Moza. They came in and found us and said, we want the market share. We want people driving Moza stuff. And so they've helped me out. So I'm actually buying 10 seats for the third time at this point to get all the Moza equipment in. I'll be ready to, I'm ready to stop buying sim racing hardware. I promise you that. But it's made it where, with some of these groups that are competing facility against facility, I felt like it was important to be with current stuff. If Oasis in Houston is on direct drive stuff and my guys are on belt drive stuff, tenths of seconds per corner, that's seconds a lap. I mean, you're not even in it. So I felt like it was important to keep up and to have nice stuff. I mean, I'm finally now about to the facility I aspired to be at 18 months ago. So patience again, right? I'm bang my head against the wall. It took some time to get there, but it's been out of the wallets of the guys that believed in it and didn't have space at home and pay the league fees to come and play. So it's all thanks to them. I took it as far as I could, and it's their loyalty and their frequency to come in and pay to play that created the cash to reinvest and make it better. So I couldn't do it without them. A shout out to them and thanks to them. But I wasn't able to just walk in and spend $1 million to build the place. We built it, from the pennies up. So it's been an adventure, but we're getting there.
Jason, you have started a war. In
the
Discord. He started a war in the YouTube chat right now, bringing up Fanatic. Anyways, sorry, Stevie. This has got to be. This will be my last question. I promise.
No, you're fine. This is what this is all about.
Yeah. So when it comes to, obviously, you have a bunch of people come in that run your stuff, that run your setups, your rigs, your wheels, your pedals, the feel. in your view and what people have told you, what is the best way? I ask this to as many people as I can, and I think you're one of the best ones to ask. When it comes to people that come in, they say the pedals don't feel right, the wheel doesn't feel right. What makes people faster in your view? Wheels, pedals, rig. What is it?
For the people that come into the Sim Racers group, I would say 95% of them have never sat in a rig before in their life.
Right.
So there's so much input. I literally, we joke about, the Matrix, plug in the USB plug into the back of their brain. And I never got any of that. I mean, if you walked into a place and you said the equipment was shoddy, would you tell the guy behind the counter? Probably not.
No.
So when we had belt drive stuff and soft CSL Elite pedals, that may have cost me some business where they said, why would I pay to go play on that stuff? But generally speaking, it's felt like they were just most of the time they walked in and they were like, whoa.
Right.
I mean, you see 10 rigs, 10 times 49-inch Samsung monitors, 32-inch engineering monitors. I mean, I wanted it to be instantly visually impressive.
Yeah,
so when they're playing, they're just initially they're just stoked to play. That they can bring 5 friends and they can all race each other around Laguna Seca. Obviously, is about an hour south of here is our home track and most popular place. So at least at that point, I don't think it was particularly about the equipment. Now, having come up on cheap equipment and gone through several phases of the equipment, for me, I think it's the pedals.
Yeah.
As the ultimate piece. We've got 10 sets of the Moza CRPs now. And what I found with, when you have no load cell and they're just floppy, it's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the CSL Elites, they were load cell, but they were soft. And what I found is as the car began to slide, my brain was reacting quick enough to make the save, but the pedals weren't reacting quick enough to make the save. Mm-hmm. And so you found yourself like, man, I spun again. And when we went to the Moza CRP pedals, that almost completely stopped. Because the pedals could react quick enough. You could get off the brakes. You could get on the gas. You could balance the car at the limit with those pedals where we couldn't before. So what was funny about the wheelbase is I bought 14 off of eBay. Yep. It took that many to find 10 that didn't have slop in them so bad that they were undrivable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I didn't come from slap $1 million and it was all brand new equipment. That's why I'm so grateful for the guys that stuck around. But the hilarious moment was when we switched from the old belts to new Fanatec 8 Newton direct drives.
Oh, it's a huge difference.
Drivers were finding that they were hitting the wall before the apex because they'd spent 3 seasons of their brain taking into account the slop in the steering wheel before the car would turn. And when slop went to 0, they were like, whap. I mean, it was so funny. It took hours to sort of dial the slop out of the reaction time to make the apex. And then obviously everybody jumps forward in speed. Sure. Everybody was really impressed with the step up in quality. And then I think again from 5-year-old, technology 5-year-old Fanatec's to the new Moza stuff that we're running now, there's a higher fidelity in the wheelbase. Yep. There's more details across the bumps. I mean, I'm biased. They helped us out. Plug Moza, love it, but it is a higher quality and it is a higher finish, a fidelity in the steering wheel itself. And that detail, everybody that's been in sim racing for a while knows it's the sensitivity that's so important. And that comes from the quality of the information. So as our equipment has improved, so have the drivers in-house. And the guys that had nice stuff at home that were taking advantage of the poor bastards here on the old belt drive stuff were pissed when all of a sudden everybody in-house was like full throttle the same way they were. Now it was like they didn't want a level playing field. They were taking advantage of those guys on the old stuff. So the long end of the short of it is, for me, it was the pedals. But obviously going from an old wheelbase to new tech direct drive made a big difference as well.
I got one more, Stevie, and I will shut the hell up until you tell me to talk again.
No, you won't.
No, you're probably right. So you mentioned the screens, right? You went trips with one on top. What made you decide to go that instead of the cheaper VR version at that point?
I came from the Samsung 49-inch monitor when I built my rig. That was my preference.
Right.
And then when I got into overlays, I didn't want to clutter my screen. So I had a second monitor on top with the standings and the track map and driver info and all that. And when I built SRG, I envisioned that it was 10 of my rig. And I had never driven VR at that point. And from a public walk-in standpoint, you cannot live in a modern society in, Western culture without being familiar with monitors.
Right.
So whereas with the VR stuff, initially it makes you sick for so many of us. For me, I tried a VR headset on my buddy's rig and it was like 5 minutes later and I was like green. I mean, I don't get motion sick. I love roller coasters. I love race cars. I'm very fortunate to have a strong stomach that way. But if I had put 10 VR headsets on the rigs and 90% of the people walk in, play for 5 minutes, get sick and walk out, that's not beneficial to the business model. So the 49-inch monitors are impressive. They're almost peripheral when you're focused on the middle. I've never felt like I was absent of peripheral. And as I have heard it, really the only sim racers that really, really need the triples to be on peripheral are high-end oval, like NASCAR racing drivers, where they're so close so often that those millimeters count. Here in San Jose, it's a road racing culture. I mean, we got Sonoma, we got Thunder Hill, we got Laguna, all within, a handful of hours here. And that's where I grew up. That's my passion. I don't know if I drew them by culture or by aura or what have you. But with the 49s and the road racing, you develop a sense of space when someone's next to you. And then it's usually over within a corner or two. They go through, you go by, what have you. The long-term side-by-side battles obviously don't happen with the same frequency that they do in NASCAR and the high-end oval stuff. So the 49s were it for me as far as the budget, the functionality, the applicability to the average Joe walking in, and then the 32-inch engineering monitors on top are cool when they walk in. It's more than what somebody has on their desk and their keyboard. And I think it's served us well. It's especially with the sprint racing and the endurance racing where that engineering monitor is really important. If you're test driving, the track map will show you around, but there is no standings. There is no, it's your lap times and nobody else. It doesn't really matter. But for the leagues and the endurance racing, it made a big difference. And it's impressive if you're not familiar with it to walk in and there's 10 rigs of 10 49s and stacked 10 32s it's a good look. So we've really appreciated that.
Yeah, no, all right, I'm done, Stevie. You can have him back. That's all I wanted.
Now, you were talking about the customers and the older equipment you had and upgrading and all that, but I got to say that the community that you created and the people there, that had to be worth a lot to them as well, just to come in and share that community and be able, even though it may have been older equipment, it's worth something to be there and do that and probably get some coaching from you and from others. And so awesome job.
Yeah, it's my passion. It's fun to talk about. People ask, what do you charge to coach? And I'm like, turn a couple of laps and I'll show you that you missed an apex and you're it's fun to there's so much. I've coached every passion in my life. You always want to talk about that stuff, and it's very gratifying when someone comes in, they can barely keep the thing on the track, and a few hours later they get some consistency, they start going faster. And for us, I mean, the community is everything. That's the most valuable thing. When you're racing by yourself, you can join officials, you can race, what have you. But in a league where you're making friends, you've got rivals that we joke about. It was funny when you're driving at home and you crash, somebody crashes into you or what have you. You can call them a bozo in the chat if you want to, but
I mean,
they live in.
Yeah, that's a nice word for some of the stuff I've been called.
Right.
So
of course. But they live in Florida, they live in Spain, they live in France. So that's the end of it. When they're sitting 3 feet from you,
Yeah.
That's a very different environment. Okay. So it tends to be more respectful. And for some reason, the drivers that crash into themselves most frequently have been best friends for 20 years, and they've been at each other's throats of every game they've ever played since they were best friends at 5 years old. And it's the same two guys. I'm like, guys, so how do you get mad at them? They've done it to this week. It was that guy, and next week it's that guy. They've done it at that point. The officiating is over. I mean, your roommates, punch each other out if you want to. I don't care. I don't care. Pay your league fees. Crash into each other. Out of the way. I was fourth until you crashed into each other. Now I'm second. So cool. But the community is everything. I mean, when you first start sim racing, you don't have it. And this is a way to walk into a friendship circle and come to the in-house 6 hour and meet guys you've been racing with online for 3 seasons. And that was something that I was hoping for. I thought that it would take longer to gel than it did. But sim racing can be lonely. You're in your garage and you race and you're done, and your wife, how's your race? Yeah, good. Okay. And just by the way, the kid, this, that, and the other, and you're not a big hero. Nobody knows who you are in the grocery store, but it's the friendship circle. And like I said, Stevie, in running your leagues and your communication and the camaraderie and the Discord, there's a lot most of it that I learned playing in your leagues that I have applied here. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that we did something to help you there. It's just, that's what it's all about is developing a community and friends. And this, the race may be over tomorrow, tonight, whatever, but the friendships we have in the community, I know it, and you probably as well. And Jason and Adam, we could go almost anywhere in the world and go have a beer with a friend somewhere. So
I'll tell you, it's the craziest thing to me. A lot of the friends, one of the people I met through sim racing was in my wedding. He was a groomsman in my wedding. It's just crazy. And that's a good thing about the small communities that we have here. It is a niche, which I am so happy for you, Jason, that you made a niche work. But it's a very niche community, but we all enjoy the same thing. It's not like Call of Duty, where we may not really, we're all playing it. But here, we all love racing. We can all get along with racing, and most of us have the same mentalities, and that's why things work out the way they do in the sim racing side of it.
Yeah.
One of the fun about the development that I hadn't recognized, one of my high school buddies and great friends has 3 sons. The first son grew up very naturally at a very natural rate. The second son a little bit faster in keeping up with the older brother. And then the youngest son came in and was like running at like 8 months because he so desperately wanted to keep up with his big brothers. And when I started sim racing, I was basically by myself, and it was fun. I'd jump on, I'd run. Maybe I was a little quicker this time than last time. But what I found with the leagues in that when someone comes in and now it's like a gym buddy, that guy is going to be working out, and it's the motivation. Then I don't want to lose to that guy again. And they come in and practice and they get faster. And I found that in joining a league, just the motivation and the acceleration of skill set has been unbelievable. I've seen drivers come in. I've never sat in a sim rig before in my life. And 3 seasons later, they're winning Inter 2. And I just couldn't fathom from my own progression, being the eldest brother in this situation. It's just an unnatural acceleration.
Stevie's pointing at himself too, right?
It's like it took me 2 years to go that fast, and you didn't want to lose to Mark again. So you put 15 hours into next week's track and then you smoke them. It's like, how I'm the 5th fastest guy in my own damn league now. You know how frustrating that is for me?
Well,
Jason, oh my God.
Look how far I've fallen.
Poor Stevie.
Jason,
I would never have started the community if I knew I was going to go from the fastest guy to the 5th fastest guy. What the fuck?
Jason, real quick here, we've got Speedy Boy in the chat saying, I'm going to wear my SRG championship ring now. Then the grocery store patrons will know who I am.
We joke about prestige worldwide. That's what you win when you're a Sim Racers Group community champion. Prestige worldwide.
Okay. Yeah. So, Well, we have run our hour tonight. We typically run about an hour and 10 or so, but said we were a little short on our highlights because we only had the one race. But I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your schedule, Jason. I know you're busy there with all the sims and everything, and appreciate you setting aside time to join us. It was really educational. I think our listeners, our viewers here got some good stuff out of it from your viewpoint. So anything else you want to share? Shout outs? Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah,
I'll take Adam's word and
It's my line, Stevie. You can't take my line.
Yeah.
just the support and the encouragement from everybody out there, the guys that have come in and stuck with it and saw the vision, and believe me when I told them that they were gonna, we're reinvesting the proceeds to make it better. I had standards higher than what the rigs were when we built them, and for those drivers that stuck it out and paid those league fees when it wasn't the best equipment. I mean, my parents helped me, my family helped me. I really found friends come out of the woodwork. My IT buddies were like, all right, you're building 10 computers, let's go. So you kind of never really know how many friends you've got until you do something that people want to get behind. And so it's to all of them. I mean, I could not have done it by myself. And my business partner, Tyler, here has jumped in and it's just made a huge difference. Running the rookie leagues and just giving me a Saturday off here and there. So to him for sure, and to the league drivers and to the sim racers that came before, to the Stevie and the guys that have built the communities that I could play in and see that it was possible. Pursue your passions. Life is short, make it work. It's all about balance. We've all got wives and kids and families and all that stuff. But I really feel so strongly about the future of sim racing and the democratization of the enjoyment of the sport that we all love. Very, very excited, very grateful. It's been quite a ride. I'm sure there's more journey to have been had in front of us. But at the end of the day, we're playing video games with our friends. So what more could you want as adult racing enthusiasts? It's been great. So appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
It's not a video game, Jason.
I think you've got a very long, great road ahead of you, Jason. So enjoy the ride. Man.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Yep.
Are we calling it right now, Stevie? Is that it, or are we gonna close this out a little bit?
Yeah. What you got in mind?
I got nothing. That's why I'm asking you. This is your show.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something in mind there. Jason, JG.
Yo.
Been a good, been a quiet night for you.
Y'all were on a roll.
All right.
Well, now I got something then. Watch out. Because I'm going to be on a roll next Saturday, at least, in the FVs. Michelle, I'm coming for you. Everybody else in the FVs, I am coming for you guys. I am coming for you guys.
Yeah, well, you got one problem. It's not going to be dirt.
Hell, I know. I need a little bit of practice on the other side of it, but don't worry. I'll be there. I'll be there.
There's plenty of dirt around Olden. I'm sure you can find some.
Yeah. Not quite on the gray stuff, but there's dirt out there. So, all right, guys. Appreciate you taking your time out tonight as well. It's been a lot of fun. This is episode 6 already. I don't know where they've all gone, but it's a lot of fun. We got some good guests coming up. Dave Ogburn, another SCCA guy that's one of the top guys in the country. We got to get who we got?
Yeah, I think I remember seeing Dave out there on Sunday.
Yeah, he joined us for all 3 races Sunday.
Yep.
So it'll be a good one. And I think we can call that.
Well, so, Brian, I'm glad you joined right when we were about to,
as always.
Brian, I'm glad you joined right when we were about to get out of here. Now he's got to go all the way back to the beginning. Brian, thanks for joining, and now you get to go watch the whole thing.
So thanks to all of our listeners, our viewers there in the chat. Appreciate them. It's a lot of fun. So that's another facet of this to get those guys involved. But
especially our watchers in Italy
Yeah,
and
Guido.
Portugal, where it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. for
The Wall of Guido.
So.
Guido just said the Wall of Guido. We cannot forget about the Wall of Guido. We got to get out of here. We could be looking at these comments all night, Stevie.
Yep.
We're on.
All right.
We're gone. Bye, guys.
We'll
Have a
see
great
you.
night.
See y'all next week.
Yeah.